They've conquered Europe. Now Scania wants America. In 2025, they're not just entering, they're aiming to disrupt. But can a Swedish giant really take on the kings of US trucking? Well, that's exactly what we're going to find out now. What is Scania, really? Let's get one thing straight. Scania isn't some new kid on the block trying to disrupt the trucking industry. They've been around for over 100 years. Based in Sweden, Scania builds trucks, buses, and engines that dominate the roads in Europe and South America. If you've ever seen those sleek, almost futuristic-looking rigs on European highways, yeah, that's probably a Scania. They're part of the Volkswagen Group now, sitting under Traton, the same umbrella as MAN, and technically even Audi and Porsche. But unlike flashy sports cars, Scania's reputation is built on one thing: reliability. What makes Scania different? It's not just the look, it's the engineering. Everything about these trucks is designed to last longer, burn less fuel, and keep drivers comfortable over long hauls. They've got this modular design system, which basically means most parts are interchangeable across models. So if something breaks, you don't need 12 different types of spares. Smart, right? Fuel efficiency is where they really shine. Scania trucks regularly beat other brands in long-haul mileage tests, and we're talking serious savings over time. They're also way ahead when it comes to electric trucks. While other brands are still showing off prototypes, Scania's already got battery-powered rigs hauling freight in Europe. So yeah, Scania's the real deal. They've mastered the art of efficient trucking. Which begs the question, why haven't we seen more of them on US highways? And is that about to change? Why don't we see Scania trucks in the US? Here's the weird part. With everything Scania has going for it, the tech, the efficiency, the electric trucks, you'd think they'd be all over American highways by now. But they're not. In fact, most people in the US have probably never even seen one in person. So why is that? Well, the short answer is, breaking into the American trucking market is ridiculously hard. This isn't Europe. Over here, the road kings are Freightliner, Kenworth, Peterbilt, and to a lesser extent, Volvo. These brands are everywhere. They've got massive service networks, long-standing relationships with fleets, and, let's be honest, a lot of American pride riding on them. Scania actually tried to enter the US market back in the 80s. It didn't go well. They struggled with different regulations, a lack of dealerships, and an audience that just wasn't interested in a European truck at the time. So they backed out quietly. Another thing holding them back? Price. Scania trucks are premium products. They cost more up front, even if they save you money down the line. For most fleet operators, that's a tough sell when a cheaper alternative is already sitting on the lot. But here's what's changed. The trucking industry today isn't the same as it was 40 years ago. Fuel costs are higher, emissions rules are stricter, and drivers are harder to keep. Suddenly, everything Scania is good at actually matters. And that's why 2025 could be their moment. Why 2025 might be Scania's big break. So why are people suddenly talking about Scania making a move in 2025? What's changed? A lot, actually. For starters, the rules around emissions are getting tighter fast. States like California, New York, and Washington are pushing aggressive clean truck laws, and the EPA isn't far behind. New diesel rigs will face more restrictions, and electric trucks are no longer a distant idea, they're becoming a requirement. And guess who already has electric trucks on the road? Yep, Scania. While some US brands are still testing prototypes, Scania has fully electric trucks hauling real loads across Europe. They've worked out the kinks, they've got the data. That puts them ahead of the curve at exactly the right moment. Then there's driver comfort and tech. Two things American fleets used to ignore, but can't anymore. Drivers today expect safer, quieter, more modern trucks. That's exactly what Scania is known for. Their cabs are ergonomic, quiet, and feel more like luxury workspaces than old-school diesel bunkers. But maybe the biggest reason 2025 matters? Navistar. Scania's parent company, Traton, bought Navistar, a major American truck maker, in 2021. That gives Scania access to US factories, service networks, and dealerships overnight. It solves the exact problem that kept them out before. In short, the door that was once slammed shut is now wide open. And Scania has the tech, the timing, and now, finally, the local footprint to walk right through it. What Scania does better than anyone. If Scania is finally stepping into the US spotlight, it's worth asking, what exactly do they bring to the table that American truck brands don't? Let's start with fuel efficiency. Scania's long-haul rigs are built to sip diesel, not guzzle it. In head-to-head comparisons in Europe, they routinely beat competitors by 5 to 10% on fuel economy. For fleet operators, that's not a small number. That's thousands of dollars saved per truck, per year. Multiply that across a national fleet, that's a serious edge. Then there's reliability. Scania's modular design philosophy makes maintenance easier and faster. Their trucks are built with interchangeable components, engines, gearboxes, axles, all designed to work across multiple models. That means fewer part numbers, less downtime, and less complexity in the shop. Comfort is another big win. Scania trucks are known for their premium interiors. Not flashy, just smart. The seats are supportive, the visibility is excellent, and everything is designed around the driver. In a country facing a massive driver shortage, offering better working conditions isn't a bonus, it's a recruitment tool. And let's not forget safety. Scania's been pushing advanced driver assistance systems like adaptive cruise control and lane keep assist long before most US brands caught on. They even have platooning tech, trucks that follow each other autonomously to reduce drag and save fuel. Bottom line, Scania's not just building trucks, they're building smarter, safer, and more efficient machines. The question is, are American fleets finally ready to pay attention? The Freightliner wall. Now here's the reality check. Scania might be impressive, but they're up against a massive wall in the US market. And that wall has names like Freightliner, Peterbilt, and Kenworth carved deep into the concrete. These brands aren't just competitors, they're part of American trucking culture. Generations of drivers have sat behind those wheels. Fleet managers know the ins and outs of their systems. Parts are everywhere. Service centers, practically on every interstate exit. Breaking that loyalty isn't easy, even if you've got a better truck. And it's not just about tradition. US trucks are built for US roads, wider lanes, longer hauls, heavier loads. Scania will need to adapt some of its European platforms to fit these demands. That takes time, investment, and precision. Then there's pricing. Scania's trucks aren't cheap. They're premium machines that cost more upfront. Sure, they save money over time, but convincing fleet owners to take that leap, especially in an industry known for razor-thin margins, is a big ask, especially when a perfectly decent Freightliner can be delivered tomorrow. Finally, it's support. American fleets don't want to gamble on a truck brand that doesn't have coast-to-coast coverage. One breakdown in the middle of Kansas, and suddenly all that European efficiency doesn't mean much. So no, Scania's not going to steamroll into the US and take over. But they don't have to dominate overnight. They just need to crack a few key markets and chip away at the wall, one fleet at a time. Navistar, Scania's secret weapon. Here's where things get interesting. Scania doesn't have to go it alone in America, because they've got a powerful partner already on the inside, Navistar. Navistar is one of the oldest names in American trucking, known mostly for its international brand. They've been building trucks in the US for over a century and have a well-established dealer and service network across the country. In 2021, Scania's parent company, Traton Group, bought Navistar outright, and that changes everything. With Navistar in its corner, Scania suddenly has the one thing it never had before: instant access to American infrastructure. We're talking parts distribution, service bays, factory floor space, EPA-certified manufacturing, and local expertise. That solves half the problems Scania faced when it first tried to enter the US decades ago. Even more interesting, the tech sharing has already started. Some of Navistar's new electric trucks are quietly borrowing Scania's powertrain architecture, battery systems, and software. These aren't just collaborations, they're Scania trucks under the skin, tailored for the US market. And this could be the Trojan horse strategy. Rather than pushing Scania-branded trucks right away, Traton might roll out their technology under the international badge, letting fleets get used to the performance without the branding risk. Eventually, when those trucks prove themselves, Introducing the Scania badge becomes a lot easier. So while it might look quiet from the outside, the takeover could already be happening, just under a different name. Smart, subtle, and very Scania. What American fleet owners are actually saying so? What do actual US fleet operators think about Scania entering the market? Reactions are split, but they're getting more curious by the day. Some still have doubts. They say things like, European trucks are too complicated, or we've already got brands we trust. And to be fair, that's understandable. In an industry where downtime costs real money, most operators don't want to gamble on something new, especially if parts or service might be hard to find at first. But others? They're paying close attention, especially mid-size fleets, the ones getting squeezed hardest by fuel prices, driver turnover, and emissions regulations. For them, Scania's promises of better efficiency, lower maintenance costs, and happier drivers are very appealing. A lot of them are already experimenting with electric or hybrid trucks. And if Scania tech starts showing up in Navistar products, that could be their first taste. If it performs well, that brand loyalty wall we talked about earlier, it starts to crack. It's not about replacing entire fleets overnight. It's about solving a few real-world problems. And once Scania does that, word spreads fast. Trucking is still an old-school industry, but trust is trust. If you show up, perform, and save people money, you earn your place, badge or no badge. And right now, Scania is building exactly that kind of momentum, quietly, strategically, and fleet by fleet. Could Scania actually take over US highways? Let's bring it all together. Could Scania actually take over American highways in 2025? Not completely, not yet. This isn't a Hollywood-style takeover where freightliners vanish overnight and every rig from coast to coast suddenly has a Swedish badge on the grill. That's not how the US trucking world works. But takeover doesn't have to mean domination. It means relevance, visibility, serious presence. And in that sense, Scania is absolutely positioned to break through in 2025. They've got the product. Their electric trucks are real, their diesels are efficient, and their cabs are built with drivers in mind. They've got the tech. Their safety systems, modular components, and long-term cost advantages check every box fleets are now starting to prioritize. And thanks to Navistar, they've got the local support they always lacked. The real shift will happen where regulation hits first: California, New York, Washington. If Scania tech, even under the international badge, performs well in those states, that becomes proof of concept. From there, it can grow, first in short-haul electric segments, then regional distribution, and eventually long-haul routes. It won't be loud or flashy, but it'll be smart, calculated, and very effective. So no, Scania won't take over in the dramatic sense. But could they become a serious player on American roads in 2025? Absolutely, and they've already started. Scania's not coming to play, they're coming to compete. Quietly, efficiently, and one fleet at a time. 2025 could be the year everything changes. If you want to stay ahead of the curve, hit that subscribe button. The road's just getting started.